Hi guys, welcome to today's video. So this time it's a bit of a channel update, a bit about what's been going on with the channel, with myself, and also we've actually got a guest presenter this time round. So I'll explain exactly what's going on right now. So quite recently, unfortunately, I got COVID. Not that unusual. I've been able to avoid it for 3 years, and sadly, this was my time to get it. So I have been quite ill with it. But pretty much today or yesterday, I just started to feel a little bit better, and I do feel now after a couple of weeks that I'm over the worst of it. However, in that time, I did reach out to a few other YouTube channels, which I'm a big fan of, and I asked them if they would like to contribute a little guest spot on my channel to give their channels a bit more exposure, but also to fill in the void potentially with any missing videos that I've not been able to produce, because I like to put out 3 videos on my main channel and once a week on my sort of dedicated cleaning channel. And although I was about a week and a half or so, 2 weeks ahead, those videos will start drying out, and I don't want to just put anything out just to make up the numbers, as it were. So I am delighted this time round to have my friend Matt, who's been a big Patreon supporter, but also he's a really great YouTuber himself, and a big supporter of my channel. He has now launched his own dedicated YouTube channel, which is called Matt's Book Nook here on YouTube, and there'll be links, of course, down below. And he has filmed his own video, which we can put out right now for you to enjoy, and this is going to be looking at his Norton paperbacks. He's going to do a little bit of paperback cleaning, and he's also going to dig out his vintage Star Wars figures, which is an original collection which he got about 10 years ago, and they were from an original owner, and you'll discover them in a beautiful original Star Wars display case, and I think you're going to enjoy looking through them. And of course, please do check Matt's channel out, because he's got some really great stuff there, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. Now, I've got a couple more other YouTubers which I'd like to come on the channel and basically introduce themselves to you, because I'm sure you're going to be enjoying those. So look out for those in the future. But suffice to say, good news is I'm over the worst of COVID now, and things will be getting back to normal as soon as possible, really. One other quick thing I wanted to mention, I've just had, as you might notice, the first of a bit of merchandise come through. So I'm going to be using a company called Tea Republic, and they ship right around the world. They're very reasonable compared to some of the ones that I've seen. And although I've only got this one sort of design at the moment, which you can have on like t-shirts and fridge magnets and key rings and mugs and stickers and that sort of thing, I've got a lot more planned, sort of in the realm of sort of paperback, original paperback cover artwork, some nice photos of vintage paperbacks. We have to be careful, because we can't just put like something with a Doctor Who logo on, or a blatant James Bond ripoff, or something with a Star Trek logo on. But there are some ways around it if you're not too descriptive, if you know what I mean. So we're working on some really nice designs, and look out for those. And as the new designs become available to order, I shall obviously link to it, but look out for the official launch of the merchandise quite soon. Thanks very much for watching today, and I really do hope that you enjoy Matt's video. It's really something, and please check out his channel, and I'll look forward to seeing you again very soon. Right, let's get to it.
Hello and welcome to today's video. I'm Matt from Matt's Book Nook, and recently Jules asked me if I were to cover a video for him since he was sick, and I was really happy to do it. So what I decided to do was show off some of my favorite paperback books, clean or really do some light dusting on some of recent pickups that I have, and then also showing off some of my vintage Star Wars toys. They're nothing special, so don't think that they're anything collectible really, other than just some slight sentimental value for me. So anyways, without further ado, sit back and let's get right into it. Alright, so since this is a video for Jules' channel, I kind of wanted to make a video that's more in the style of something that he would do. So what I did was I went through my book collection and I picked out books that I've read and enjoyed that maybe don't need cleaning, and then I have some books here that I got fairly recently that need to be cleaned. So let's just jump into it. So I'm going to start off with one of my favorite classic fantasy sci-fi authors, which is Norton. So this is a book that I picked up probably about a year ago, and I was really happy with the condition that it was in. And a lot of the short stories in it were actually really good as well. But I just love just how great of condition that is in. Okay, put that to the side. This is another one that I've read maybe a year or two ago. Kind of follows these two characters that their paths kind of intertwine. It's kind of starts off kind of feeling like fantasy, but then there's also sci-fi elements to it as well, if I remember correctly. There's a bit of, I don't know if that's water damage up there, but overall, I'd say that the copy is in pretty good condition. The spine is still really nice, except for that crease there, but I don't know if that was just from the glue or not. But yeah, another great book that I would recommend by Norton. Now this, if you're familiar with DAW books, you're going to be familiar with this book. It's Spell of the Witch World, and it's the first book that was published by them. And maybe somebody on this channel here will be able to tell me whether or not if this is a first edition or not. It doesn't have a 1, or it doesn't say first edition on this one, which I think that's how some DAW books are. But yeah, this was my first Norton book that I actually read, and I saw it in a Jules video. So and I went on eBay and I found it and I bought it, and I really enjoyed it. And then that's kind of what kicked off my DAW books addiction. Okay, so here's some more Witch World books. This is the first Witch World book I believe that she made. I know at least chronologically these books kind of go all over the place, whether what's a sequel or what's a prequel, but I really enjoyed this book. It's been a while since I've read it, but it kind of starts off where the main character is in like our world, I think maybe in the 50s or 60s could be, and enters this portal and goes into this whole other world, and kind of joins this band of people, and then they go fight for a cause. And again, the Witchworld books are great because they have that fantasy sci-fi element to them, so they do kind of feel like you're reading a fantasy book, but then it'll go like into spaceships and, you know, laser blasters and everything. So and then this is the second book that was published in the Witchworld, I believe. When I got this book, it was claimed that it had never been read, and it was in perfect condition. And then you can see here, there's a bit of a crease. Because my cat knocked it off where I set it, and then it like bent a little bit on the cover. But other than that, some writing there. It's still in pretty good condition. Bit of aging to the paper, but yeah, I really enjoyed this book. I have not read this third book yet, because after what happened with that front page cover being bent, this book is just in such good condition that I almost don't want to read it. So I've been waiting to get another copy of it that is maybe in lesser condition. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this was the third Witchworld published. But like I said, these books kind of all have different orders that you can read them in, that, you know, chronologically. I think this is maybe a much later in the story, but I imagine it'll be just as good. I love that cover so much. But yeah, I'm afraid to even just like open this one up because I got these for relatively cheap for the condition that they were in. Okay, so this is another Norton book that I would recommend, Night of Masks. This one is more just straight up sci-fi. It's a pretty standard like narrative where you have an older male character that has to like guide along a younger character to safety. You know, a tale as old as time, but just another great entry in her books. But this is one where I read it and it felt like it hadn't aged a whole lot. 1964. Yeah, just a great cover on that. This copy that I have is not in the best condition, so I felt safe reading it without giving too much damage to it. right, so Stargate. So I got this and another Andre Norton job lot that I found online. Not the best condition, but I saw this cover. Somebody else posted it. I think it was like on Instagram. And I just loved this artwork so much that I just went online, and I'm glad I eventually found it because it's a little bit creased on the top there. But man, what a great cover art. And I think, who did the art on this one? I don't see any artist name on it. But yeah, it's great. I just love the colors as well. That orange is just really cool looking. In another book, this was actually one of my favorite DA books that I've read, Dark Over Landfall. This is, I think, the second printing cover. I think the original print cover is much cooler. But, man, this is another book that it just didn't feel like it aged a whole lot. And unfortunately, I looked up a little bit about her, and her life, her and her husband don't seem to be the best people around, but I still can't deny that I really enjoyed this book. It's about a crew of astronauts, I believe, or, people trying to leave Earth, if I remember right, and they crash land on another planet, and they have to start a new civilization, and then they use parts of the ship to start creating shelter and start looking around at the type of life on the planet, and the story goes from there. And I just found it really captivating the whole time I read it. And I bought some more in this Dark Over series, but I just haven't gotten around to reading them yet. Okay, so now I'm going to go through my James Blish 1 through 12 Star Trek books. And I know that Jules has gone over these books on his channel before, but when I bought these, I bought all 12 of them. I think before shipping, they were like $27 or something for all of them. And they are all just in fantastic condition. And I think they are first editions. So I'm going to open these up and let other people look at them just to fully confirm, because I don't want to make that claim and then not have them be first editions. But these are just in great condition, and I believe all of them have this name on the front, or on the front page there. So they all came from one person, and I believe that was the seller that I bought them from. And yeah, I mean, just look at that. The white even on it hasn't faded or gotten dirty. There's a little bit of markings up there. There's that page. There's a little crease right there. But I don't think that was from me. I can't remember though. It could have been from me. This one, the black, is a little bit harder to hide some blemishes on it. A little bit of crease there. Here's number 4. Some of the the wrap around these aren't perfect for the spines, but I can't complain too much. Number 5. Yeah, just look at that. I'd say, considering how old these are, they're basically perfect. And yeah, I couldn't really ask for anything better. Book number 6. Again, some blemishes here and there, and I love the choice of color on this one. (1972). This one's a weird one. Can't really explain that one too much. A little bit of you can see where it kind of got stuck to the page that it was next to and kind of got peeled off a little bit. But still. A little blemish up there. I think this is probably my favorite cover of these 12 Star Trek books. I just love that red, that crimson red. Getting more information on these pages now. First time in paperback. So yeah, I don't know, maybe this one isn't a first edition. Let's see. Again, I'm not the best at knowing. Some great episodes there. Number 10. Over 4.5 million copies in print. These ones are getting a little bit thicker. I remember when Jules made a video on these Star Trek books. It was kind of great timing because I had just ordered these books on eBay. So it was kind of cool seeing him talk about these and give some, some history on them as well. Right, 1975. And then the last one here was finished by his wife, I believe, if I remember Jules's video correctly. I would think that James Blish had died, unfortunately, by this point. Which is sad, but... Okay, so now I'm going to go through and try to clean some of these books. These are ones that I've gotten fairly recently, and they could do with a little bit of dusting and maybe some gluing. Now this book I bought at Goodwill not too long ago, maybe about a month ago, just because it kind of looked old and maybe something that I would read. But I don't think I'll be able to get that 25 cents off. And is that like an 85 on there? I can't tell. So I don't know anything about this book, but it looked old. And considering I don't see books without ISBs on the back of it at Goodwill too often, for $1.25, whatever they are, I figured I'd buy it and eventually read it. I'm going to do them all individually, so I don't have a nice big brush like Jules has. So yeah, I started my YouTube channel, I don't know, maybe about a month ago, or a little over a month ago, because I recently got a new job where I work 4 10-hour shifts and I have 3 days off. So I figured to do something on that third extra day off. I'm just using this tiny little one because I couldn't find my actual one. Flathead screwdriver. I know this is purple, but it says that it dries clear. Sorry, you're going to hear my cat a little bit in this video. But yeah, so I started my YouTube channel because I had a third extra day off. And a week. So I wanted to do something with that time, and since my old job was I was a video editor, and I would record like local sports games and type events, and I didn't want to lose that skill that I had been learning, editing video and recording stuff, because that's kind of what I went to school for, or college for. I went for video editing. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by this. All right, I'll let that dry. I don't know if I did a good job with that or not. So leave in the comments down below if I'm doing something wrong here. Yeah, so I didn't want to lose that ability of like video editing. I'm still like I work at another TV station now, but I don't do video editing or recording. So yeah, I'm just taking one of these days off and making a YouTube video just so I don't lose that skill, because I still like video editing and recording stuff. So, and it gives me something to do, because I also work nights. So on my days off, it's nighttime, so there's no real places that I can go after a certain point. So that's why if you watch my YouTube videos, I'm generally talking at a quieter voice, or maybe not as, energetic as I would normally be, because I live in an apartment building and I don't want to wake people up at 3 in the morning. Yeah. Don't know much about this book, but it was Arthur C. Clarke, so I thought I'd buy it. This was at Goodwill as well. Unfortunately, I live right next to a Goodwill, so I can kind of go to it whenever I want. It's a great cover here. I just love these old sci-fi fantasy covers. And I don't think I've read this one. This one I actually bought a while ago, but I know I haven't cleaned it. 1957, it seems, was probably when it was first published, or maybe that was when this version was. I'm not super knowledgeable on a lot of the history of this stuff. Usually I get all my old school book paperback knowledge from Jules. Let me look here if this is something that I could fix or not. I almost don't want to attempt that. I'm sure I could get like a piece of paper and put something in between it, but that's a little bit out of my skill range right now. Now these books here, I all bought on a bookstore called Bookmarks from Pluto, I believe. I'll probably put up like a link for them, and they generally have just great prices on there. They come from Canada, but they do ship to America. I'm not sure about England or the UK. And they came really fast, but I'm in Minnesota, so I suppose they wouldn't have as long of a journey. Yeah, I don't know much about this book. It's not in great condition. Usually on this website, he'll have like a bargain bin area, and these are books that are, generally not in that great of condition, and they'll be like 75 cents or like $1. So I ended up just buying like 10 books for just not much, and the shipping was very reasonable as well. I found them on Instagram. I have no connection to them other than that, but yeah, they're a great website. Yeah, this one's in pretty beat up condition, but you can still read it, so can't really complain. Hopefully I'm not too boring here. I usually wouldn't make a video in this style for my YouTube page, but if you're interested in just any kind of book video, sci-fi, fantasy, really anything, I'm thinking maybe once a month I'm going to read a Stephen King book and make a YouTube video on it, and it seems like the reception on those has been really well. It seems like Stephen King fans like to see a new reader perspective on them. Because, you know, I've seen plenty of movies based off of his books, but his newest release, Fairy Tale, was my first Stephen King book that I actually read. And then I just finished Pet Sematary like a week and a half ago, and I really enjoyed it. This one's in really good condition. Other than that corner there, the white still looks great. I love the contrast between the white and the bluish and purple colors there. 1966. The spine is pretty tight on this one. It's almost hard to read the words towards the spine. But should be good. Alright, you're going to hear my furnace kick on because it is October in Minnesota, so it's like 25 degrees Fahrenheit out right now. So you're joining me on a cold Minnesota night. You know, for being put in the bargain bin on that website, this is still in pretty good condition. And Andre Norton always just got great covers. Spine looks like it's been read a few times, but yeah, I don't know too much about this book. I know it's a Witch World book, so I bought it. I don't have all the Witch World books, but I'm probably closing in on at least, I don't know, 80% of them. So yeah, I'm going to put these aside because since this is a Jules Burt channel video, I could not show off some of my Star Wars toys, vintage Star Wars toys. Now, I am 28 years old, so I was not alive when these toys came out. I bought these at I can't think of the word right now, but when it's like a big set sale outside where people go and bring their stuff and you can go walk around and buy stuff. For some reason it's slipping my mind, but this was in 2011, I think, so I was like in 11th grade, and somebody was selling all these toys, and with this old case, and I probably paid way too much for them considering the condition that they're in, but they were his toys when he was a kid. But, so I'm going to open this up and go through some of them, just because I'm not an expert on everything here, but some of this stuff I find a little curious. Like, if anybody could tell me how old this R2-D2 is, it almost has like the feeling of like an eraser, even though I don't think it is one, because it's like too painted up to be one. But I think it says 1990 or like 95 on it, so I think it's not quite as old, but it was part of this set, so I generally don't keep it with it. And I love R2-D2, so he's usually on my shelf anyways. But if anybody knows anything about this, because I have like a book on that kind of goes over like a bunch of Star Wars toys, but I couldn't find that one in there. And they also had some of these in there, some Bubble Bath, Darth Vader, Dip Dot's painting set, little instruction manual or something. I can't remember if this is like a Star Trek toy or not. Yeah, some of these are all pretty beat up. And like, I think this is newer as well. I'm guessing this is 90s. Well, it says 1980 on the back, so yeah. Little Jawa. So these are definitely nothing to write home about it, at least what I know of them, just because of the condition that they're in. I was curious about this Chewbacca because it has this like plasticky vinyl, little bag that, you would imagine C-3PO would be in from Empire Strikes Back. Now, I found like pictures online of this Chewbacca, but I rarely see any with this back on it, so I don't know if that generally gets lost or if it just breaks over time, or if this was just put on by the previous owner of it just to kind of go with it. I haven't really looked into it too much in the last 10 years, but I just remember at the time I just couldn't find any pictures of a Chewbacca with that on the back, so I keep them in a bag just in case that'll like help preserve that back thing or not. So if you can let me know about that, that would be great too. Yeah, like I said, I probably got ripped off. I think I paid like $75 for all these, but I was like 17 years old, so yeah, they're well played with. This is a really cool one. The cloth on it, it looks fairly clean. There's a bit of a black on it, but pretty good condition. Another Leia. If I remember right, this was from that kind of first back-ordered set that came out. And my Stormtrooper, he was already yellow when I got him. He almost looks a little bit more, a deeper yellow. I haven't really looked at these in like quite a few years. That's a deep yellow. The lightsaber is no longer in his arms, or in his arm. I really like Lando's face in this one. If I can get it to focus here. Hey. Colt 45. And one thing that I'm happy about with my Greedo here, if I can get it back in focus, is that he still has both of his little antennas. I usually see online that one of those or both of them have broken off. It almost looks a little dusty. I like Ewoks. I don't have a problem with them. I like this guy in Return of the Jedi as well. I always felt bad for him when he was crying. I really enjoyed Jules' recent-ish video on the set that this came from. Mine's in pretty good condition. I can't remember this character's name, but it's very gross looking. Nothing special, but I thought I would show them since I'm on Jules' channel here. Okay, so thank you for watching. Hopefully this wasn't too boring. I tried to pick some things that I know Jules' audience would maybe find interesting. And like I said, this isn't usually the type of video that I would do on my channel, but if you want to go over and take a look at it, and if it interests you in any way, I would like it if you would subscribe. That would be great. If not, that's okay too. I'm still kind of new to all this, so I'm still getting used to talking to the camera. So if I was boring, that's probably why. And thanks for watching, and I hope Jules feels better soon. I know that he was sick, so he asked me to make a video for him, and I was happy to do it because I've been watching his channel for many years now, and he's been an inspiration for me getting into like online book presence. And yeah, I watch his videos all the time, and he's just wonderful. And he recently sent me this book a few months back. I have not gotten around to reading it yet, but I will eventually because it does seem interesting. Number 95. So yeah, I want to thank Jules for giving me the opportunity and the pleasure to make a video for his channel, and I was honored when he asked me to do it, so thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.